I am Michelle D Hare, graduate of Buffalo Academy for Visual and Performing Arts, class of 1993. I was a dance major. It is such a joy to be here with the school today and work with our students this week actually to teach the Dunham technique, because this was the first technique that I learned as a new dancer. I was drawn to Dunham technique because of its roots in the African diaspora and African culture. Some of my most memorable experiences at school, I loved everything BAVPA. At my time, we called it performing arts. So I loved everything performing arts. When I look at today's dance program versus when I was in school, I still have that sense of family. When I look at the dancers today and I remember how we were family first, and we are still sisters. And I see a bit of that in the dance department today as I look at the students and I see how they lay around each other and give hugs and smile and call each other nicknames. You know, those are the same things that we did. And I think that's a special quality that you pick up as a dance major. One of the challenges that I grew from greatly as a young dancer was, I believe I was in the 7th grade. Mrs. Brown had 3 7th graders audition for a piece with high schoolers. For myself, I'd say, I can admit I was not ready for that. We had a guest artist in, his name was Abdel Salam, and he came in with a hardcore audition style. He brought New York with him, you know, that style, that funk and all. He had a very harsh audition, something that I'd never participated in before. Lo and behold, I was not selected for that piece. 2 of us were not selected. Before we got to the dressing room though, Abdel Salam pulled us to the side and he said, "Girls, good job. I want you to know that you have kahunas." And we thought, okay. He said, "Never give up, keep going, blah, blah, blah." He gave us that spiel. We go to the dressing room, we broke down in tears. Mrs. Brown comes in and she says, "Girls, I'm so proud of you. You did a good job." And we said, "Mrs. Brown, he said we have kahunas." And she said, "Girls, that means you did well. You have courage, you're bold." And we said, okay, we have courage. But you know, that was such an opportunity for growth, which I did not see at that moment because I was so heartbroken and distraught. I never experienced failure before in dance. But what it was a lesson. She put us in a room that she knew we weren't fully capable of thriving in and succeeding and being selected, but she wanted to challenge us. So I love the fact, in retrospect, that she challenged us to be bigger, greater, to do bigger things, to be around dancers who were better than us, to trust ourselves. But she trusted us that we would at least get through it, and indeed, we did build kahunas after that. It didn't matter if you had the strongest technique, if you were able to do a triple pirouette, we all danced together. And what mattered most, again, aside from technique, was stage presence. That was something that was taught to us by Mrs. Brown, Ms. Hannah Rakin, Ms. Wexler. They made sure, and Ms. Lipa as well, they made sure that when we were on the stage, the audience was given our absolute best. Again, whether your extension was to your ear or not, it was all about your performance quality. We left everything on the stage. And if I could tell anything to today's dancers, it is leave everything on the stage. All that you have, your heart, your soul, should be on the stage. You give that all to your audience at all costs. That is something that was taught to us, and I will never forget. There are a number of writings from Mrs. Brown, underlined messages that she wanted to highlight. And what was beautiful about it is I did not have to read the full text to understand what I wanted to share with our students. I just needed to look at what was underlying, and it was so beautiful. This reminded me that she was here with me all along. She was surely by my side. It's really simple, and it's to go for it. Just do it. Whatever you're passionate about, you have a finite amount of time to get it done. So just go for it. Live your wildest dreams, feel your passion, and move. Because I analyze so much, it causes paralysis, and then I don't move. I don't want you to do that. Don't live your life that way. And I promise you, you already have wings. Maybe you haven't used them yet. Just jump. Your wings will develop, I promise, but take a chance. And if you're here, that means that you are a talented student. You are gifted. If it's visual arts, music, vocal, theater, dance, you have a gift, and I implore you to use it.
My name is Dr. Tiffany Mingo. I graduated from Performing Arts in 1995 as a proud dance major. The aspects that contributed to my success as a dancer has been the wonderful teachers that trained me during my years. I became a dance teacher. So I became a Yvonne James Brown. I became a Hannah Rakin and a Deborah Lipa Ciota. So those teachers were so inspiring in the classroom that I knew I wanted to teach. I would say my students teach me how to be a better communicator. As you know, with teaching, there's this language. Obviously, dance uses the language of the body, but with teaching, it's all communication. I love when my students are honest and they're like, hey, Dr. Mingo, these counts, they're too fast, they're too fast. Okay, awesome, let's slow it up. And then we'll work our way up to the challenge to speed it up later. So it's give and receive through great communication. I'm just so passionate about the journey of a dancer. I tell the kids, you may decide to be a dance studio owner. You may just want to direct. You may just want to choreograph. So there's so many arenas for them, but the biggest success is the exposure and teachers that allow their kids to see more. So if there is one thing that I can share or impart into the students here at BAVPA is the fact that each of them are artists, always will be an artist, a practicing artist, and there will be times where it intermingles. So it's okay, you can dance, you can sing, you can act, and you may infuse those things into an integrated approach into your career. You may like photography. So the fact that they are young creatives is what we want them to know, and it's okay to not feel that you have to just choose one all the time. Being authentic and true to themselves as an artist, they'll actually open up and become more than just one specific type of artist.
I hope the students were able to feel a little of the spirit of Mrs. Yvonne James Brown, because that is what lives inside of me. And as I was preparing for class, as I taught class, I couldn't help but continue to feel her presence and reflect on all of the corrections and the things that she taught my classmates and I gave those tidbits back to the students this week. And if anything, again, what's most important to me is that they feel the legacy of Mrs. Brown working through me and pouring into them. You know, as I was preparing for this class, I thought, Mrs. Brown, you're supposed to be here. If you were here, I would not be